All right. I have a game loaded here. I have found Justiis as Kagalichu, Blood and Wild, versus Wintermoon, Sapphire and Wild. Played by ThurfirHawat.
The old Wintermoon, Thunderfield Seer, Brown Fox Scout, Pipit Hustler, Arcane Focused, a couple of Wild Ice, and a Well of... Is that one called Cunning? I think that's called Cunning, right?
That is a Well of Instinct.
Instinct. There we go. Well of Instinct. And then we see a Strangle, a Hero Fall, and an Eaglelaki with a Blood Ice. And I'm on Sagi Lilypad in Justice's hands. So pretty good hands either side, honestly.
Eager Lackey conscripting a forecast. Now that many of these forecasts aren't in danger of dying to Lasgar's vengeance, that might be a reason we're starting to see these just very good value cards appear in Wild. On Fox Scout, that quick 2/3 Sapphire and Wild troop. Here we go.
Ices coming down both sides here. Fate Weaving, the top card of the deck. Obviously, for ThurfirHawat, getting the ice down first is the only option, really. We see that Thunderfield Seer come down to modify the top action of that deck into one that draws a card. Very, very good early on here. We see the double Arcane Focus. Everything a Wintermoon player wants and needs in his life.
Thunderfield Seer, according to some, a top 5 Sapphire card. For good reason. A 1/1 body, blocker for aggro. Will pretty much draw you a card. Almost certainly.
So I didn't see what was put back into the deck there, but we can only assume that the Arcane Focus with draw a card was one of them.
I'd choose that. That's a solid choice. Okay, so Wintermoon, 2 charges, puts 2 cards from your crypt back into your deck and gives them the additional text, draw a card.
Interesting. So we see the Brown Fox Scout on top there, peeking his head over, and then a Fate Weave putting something else on top instead. Here comes Crusader. Are we going to see the Brown Fox deny here? We do.
Deny gets -2 cost if a troop entered play this turn. So might as well get Brown Fox Scout out to reduce that cost by 2 by spending 2 resources.
There's that Brown Fox again. He's been sat on top for a little while there.
Oh, Hero Fallen, Brown Fox Scout in response. Brown Fox Scout from the top of deck.
That's pretty nice.
The rest are still lost, but one was saved. Kagalichu discarding a Monsagi coins to draw a card and bury the top 3 cards of deck.
So this isn't the best hit for a 4-drop from the Lackey there, but it does deal with this board state fairly well. And
it's a free card off your 1/1, so...
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, there are substantially better hits. Strangle coming through to take out the threat that wasn't really a threat in my opinion, so maybe the Strangle was a little bit overzealous there. Nothing else played for Justice. We see A whole host of Pipit Hustlers, many Pipit Hustlers.
That's a liability with that hero fall in hand and one being revealed earlier. I mean, you can assume that hero fall is being played by a blood deck, but you never know exactly when. But they are quick troops, so ThurfirHawat doesn't really need to play them.
Yeah, so I can only assume that we're looking for Windsinger right now. And another resource too, obviously. You don't really want to be playing a Windsinger down if you don't have any resources open for that Deny. But Deny was just found, so that's pretty good. We see the Hustler here transforming into a Death's Head Rider. So same damage, but this time there is evasion as well.
Trades 1 defense for flight. That's a pretty good trade for Justiis. I think you'd take that.
Draw a card, Arcane Focus is pretty strong. We're almost at that Winter Moon charge power as well there. Plus we have the 7 resources we need now if we want to pop in a Windsinger and hold up that Deny. Well, that's not good. Looking for something he can trade with here. Finally finds it.
Pipit Hustler trades that 1 resource, staying open, Deny, cost 1, interrupts the Yazukan. Both players 3 cards in hand still, Justiis at 12, ThurfirHawat at 17. But Runia Hierophant is still a threat. +1/+1 whenever a troop enters play, and at Underworld Crusader, well, it was a Underworld Crusader, now is a barrier bot. 0/5 defensive Skyguard is blocked by Pipit Hustler before it becomes bigger than 3/3. Still Deathcries and summons its Deathcry troops. An Abomination and a Blight Blossom.
Wincing means no party. We see Rotten Rancor met with Weave into Nothing. We don't want any of those nasty things coming out.
And that'll put a non-resource on top of Winter Moon's deck. Which is a pretty good one, Lanapaw's Sight. Will Prophecy when you play this, draw a card onto the next action, troop, and resource in Winter Moon's deck. Justiis still pulling threats. Runia Hierophant holding up Hero Fall. Lots of resources.
The Deny with looks like double draw a card on it.
Justiis picks up an Eternal Seeker, 5/5 flight, would void all cards in play with a cost chosen by the player, except for the double Deny. Winter Moon is
really great here for HEX. Like another Lanapor site here with all of the draw a card nonsense that's already happening is huge, and honestly, it was looking kind of rough up until this point.
This is Winter Moon's game right now. Winter Moon has established her engine. She's got cards in the deck everywhere with draw a card, holding up 3 interrupts. None of this is going through. Deny, Weave into Nothing, resources for just about all of it. Weave into Nothing on the Eternal Seeker.
Another Lanapor site. That's a lot of card draw. We see the Sapphire Shard there has double draw a card on it as well. So if we see Lanapor site come in first here, there's Arcane Focus with so much text that I have no idea how many draw cards are on that. Double draw card on that shard, drawing into Weave into Nothing and Cottontail Explorer. Cottontail Explorer also has double draw a card. We see the Winter Moon activation there, putting those cards back in the deck. Still no Windsinger though. It's got to be there, right?
Even with Windsinger though, how does this deck win? I don't think we've seen something that'll help Wintermoon win this right now. I mean, granted, Justiis is going to have a hard time playing another card from here on out. But there's got to be something in here.
There he is. There he is. I think it just wins through raw card advantage and the ability to play infinite resources all of the time.
Deny gets -2 cost every time a troop enters play for you. So in fact can become less than 1 cost. I didn't know that. Today I learned.
I'm proud of you. So now every time Justice draws a card, Windsinger also draws a card. We see Hero Falls coming out here. Hero Fall, Hero Fall. Interesting choice there. Putting in the Brown Fox Scout to reduce the cost of Deny down to 1. That means that, you know, essentially it costs the same. And we see all of the interrupts, all of the Hero Falls. What a chain. That's pretty much all the Hero Falls gone, though. Rancor is left. But potentially Pippa Hustler saves Windsinger from the Rancor next turn.
And that's late game Wintermoon. 3 interrupts. All those resources out. Windsinger replenishing those resources for 3 Hero Falls in a row. Lord Blightbark showing that this is a Deathcry deck. It likes Deathcry. ThurfirHawat building up this board as Wintermoon attacks with things.
And things are dead. Not much left now. We see the Rancor come down onto a Thunderfield Seer. Deny comes down immediately to stop that.
Justice could have triple blocked the Windsinger. I'm not sure if that would have mattered all too much given the second Windsinger in ThurfirHawat's hand, but...
Yep, Seeker comes in, takes out the Windsinger, but there is another Windsinger. There's only 11 cards left in that deck, which is not a lot.
And Wintermoon can't actually put cards back in the deck infinitely. It does take 2 charges, so that's a finite number of cards.
Casual Deny with draw 2 cards. Maybe even 3. Couldn't quite see. But it looks like 2. That's the Hustler here coming in to turn that Barrier Bot into a Bloodstained Brawler, looks like.
Yeah, but Wintermoon will have quite a few turns to be able to finish this off before burying. Eternal Seeker is a blocker here. ThurfirHawat has still a healthy 17 health. Justiis down to 4. Exarch for the Egg denied. We'll draw at least 3 cards. Rotpaw Gang in the crypt. Eternal Seeker will be sacrificed to bring it into hand, played, and woven into nothing. Wintermoon Control, classic Wintermoon Control at its finest.
Definitely they're just winning through card advantage, but honestly, you know, not even a single, you know, larger threat combat-wise than Wintermoon there is definitely interesting. I imagine there's some Gargoliths in the reserves or something similar, something big with utility there.
All right. Game number 2 of this round 1 Hex Bash match between Justiis as Kagalichu and ThurfirHawat as Wintermoon. Wintermoon controlling that last game and up 1 game. Justiis trying to even out the match score. Has just played a Blood Ice. And here are the hands.
We have a Weave into Nothing, Pipit Hustler Transmog up in the top there with a couple of, well, 3 Ice, 2 Sapphire, 1 Wild, and a Sapphire Shard. Then we have Cottontail, Runir, pretty good stuff, Hero 4 and Rancor, and 2 Blood Shards for Justice, so missing that Wild could be unfortunate here. We do see that Brown Fox on top as well. A little bit too early in the game for it to be useful. It's definitely going to be a draw. Normally when you play Brown Fox Scout off the top, essentially you get a free card because you're playing from the top, and you know, it kind of acts as a draw card in a way. But that's going to hand here because of the earliness of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah. But, you know, 2 Fately resources in Justice's starting hand will be enough. The first one will find Well of Ancients. That's much safer than it is just keeping it without any way to attempt to fix your resource draws. It's one reason why these ices, these Fately resources, have become a core part of our constructed game.
Yeah, Rancor there, not too much of what Justice wants there. Rancor is something he probably wants a little bit later down the line, but we see the Runa come in. The Runa gets changed into a Runeweb Infiltrator, which is actually incredibly good.
When it damages an opponent, putting 2 Spiderling eggs in their deck, and Winterman loves to draw cards, so you'll start to see those Spiderling webs if that is unanswered and is a 1/1 would flight.
Yeah, that was a really fortuitous transmog hit there for Justice, because you know those eggs can make a huge difference in games like this.
At the same time, it's no longer a Ruiner Hierophant, so out of one threat into another. That's Transmogger Fade.
Hero 4 here, taking out the one from hand as well, and all the rest of them from the deck, just removing the potential for free draws there.
Free draws, a lot of damage that Justiis can't block right now.
Wintermoon pops the 2 that are there back in though, and holds up Interrupts, which is not the worst idea when your opponent only has a Runeweb Infiltrator on the board. You don't need that Lana pause just yet. Hustler comes in, doesn't want any more eggs. Does not want any more eggs. And we see a Thought Collector. So it's still a Flight Troop, still evasive, still a threat. But it's not putting eggs in the deck anymore, so that's good, right? Potentially that could die at some point and take an egg from the opponent's deck and then give the ThurfirHawat here a spider. Doesn't though, gets a Hustler. I would have liked to see the spider egg, but didn't happen.
Taking the spiderweb would give ThurfirHawat the spiderling. Kind of silly, but lots of troops, and interrupts do not stop troops that are already in play, so this match has been evened up 1-1. It looks like the decision to concede that one was one based on player clock time. Which, while it did not seem like a loss at that point, that does make sense. Both players only have 30 minutes to complete their match personal time, much like a chess clock. And a control deck will likely need more time than available, and not being able to handle that board very easily may have wanted to budget that time for this Game 3. So getting into Game 3 right now. Wintermoon played by ThurfirHawat, Justiis as Kagulichu once again. We've got a new set of starting hands and another card new to this matchup.
Ooh, Primordial Cockatrice. Interesting stuff. So not bad, honestly, against the the Wintermoon deck, you know, potentially a way to get those interrupts out of hand, and without that being something that the interrupts can stop themselves, because it's just an activated ability. Chuck it to the crypt, or chuck it back to the deck even, and get 2 cards out of the hand. So, you know, you can't interrupt that. So if there are limited cards in hand, that's going to be a pretty potent tool, I think.
It's a lot like Culmination of Blood, discarding a control deck's hand. Primordial Cockatrice can make hard decisions, especially if Wintermoon or Dreaming Fox control decks get into that low hand state before they have control of the game. And unlike Culmination of Blood, the ability of Primordial Cockatrice isn't a card. Can't be interrupted. ThurfirHawat has a bunch of arcane foci. Needed to start with a Wild Ice. Well, that's not a bad start. That Sapphire Threshold can start making that designer hand, looking at the top 2 cards of the deck, taking one and putting the other one back into the deck somewhere.
Do you see that Windsinger already here? So the end game is very present. We also see the Paw of Yazakan and Rotpaw on the opposing side, though. And the Cockatrice not doing too much right now, even though it's there. It's a handful of cards for ThurfirHawat here.
If you saw that cute move a moment ago, there was a Brown Fox Scout on top of ThurfirHawat's deck, and Wild Ice puts another card on top of it through Fate Weave, so delays that Brown Fox Scout from being drawn till the next turn, where he may have resources to play it.
It's pretty cool, actually, the way that works. And there's a Deny in hand too here, so both of those can be played on the same turn.
The conscripted troop, the 4-cost Underworld troop that Justiis got, is a Paw of Yazakan. Scrounge 3, destroy target card.
Something that this deck kind of wants to be running a lot of the time anyway, so I'm sure he's not complaining about that.
Quite a bit better than a 2/4 vanilla.
You do see the Brown Fox come in here. That's almost certainly a precursor. Oh, okay. Both of them come in. That reduces it to -1, and so the Deny gets played at the end of the chain there. Interesting.
Why play 1 Brown Fox out than a Deny when you can play 2 in a Deny?
It's a good point. I can't think of a good reason right now. Skyguard Steadfast on this Rune Hierophant means that, you know, unless you want to be trading away two of your Brown Fox Scouts here, you're just taking 4 to the dome there, and it does stop the backswing as well, so it's pretty good.
Five resources held up by ThurfirHawat. As Wintermoon with 5 cards, it could be anything to the opponent, but we see it's a Pipit Hustler, ready to likely transform that Rune Hierophant into something not 4/4. So Primordial Cockatrice, forcing 2 cards to be discarded.
Yeah, we see the Shard there and the Cottontail Explorer. Seeing Hustler come down here. Changes it into a
Awakened Herald 2/1.
Awakened Herald. Doesn't have an effect because its effect is a deploy effect there. And we see the 1 resource open here for Justiis, and double Windsinger for ThurfirHawat. So, I mean, obviously you play it here. There's no way you don't, right? Because the Hero Falls aren't open. But maybe you don't, I guess. If you're worried about that Hero Fall refresh next turn. 1 Hero Fall could take out both Windsingers here, and that wouldn't be good either, so there we go. It comes down. Opts to risk it. And let's see what Wintermoon can pick up.
This is one of those do you do it, do you risk it moments.
Bad, but we obviously that Paw of Yazakan is gonna be able to take that out this time. But it's reassuring, right? That you see that poor Vyazakan come down. It probably means that you're safe from hero fall for at least a little while.
If I had Hero Fall in hand, I would snap play it. If Windsinger only has one card. I mean, if you've got the interrupt, you've got the interrupt. Both players with a bit of. If you got it.
Fate Weave very strong here with Windsinger as well. Being able to choose what the immediate draw after you put Windsinger down is potentially quite strong. We see Windsinger come down again. Not too afraid here of jamming those Windsingers and potentially getting them removed. Hopefully, there's an interrupt in this Windsinger's future.
Between the Pipit Hustler and the 2 Brown Foxtrot, that does represent quite a bit of damage, and Justiis is already down to 9 after that 9 damage swing. 1 was chump block, so 6 taken by Justiis. But Rawpaw Gang isn't interrupted, can sacrifice a troop to give itself life drain or flight, is a 6/6, and isn't interrupted. So the 2 cards in Wintermoon's hand known to Justiis as neither of them interrupt.
So it's not the best looking situation for ThurfirHawat here, but the 2 Lanapor site, you know, if these next 2 turns go well, then, you know, right back in the game, ThurfirHawat will go. As long as that Windsinger sticks around, things might be okay here. Let's see what the draw is off the top for Windsinger. We see was that Cottontail to hand there for Justiis, and then a Sapphire Shard to hand for ThurfirHawat, but no removal still. There's the removal though. Charge Power activates and Seeker goes to hand with enough resources to play it. We see the Brown Fox come in, draw 2 cards, but neither of those cards are interrupts. Both resources, so we might see Windsinger go bye-bye here.
Rawpaw Gang is going to sacrifice for life drain. It's going to trade with these 2. Flight doesn't really do much after blocking. Sacrificing the Eager Lackey. Justiis back up to 15 after taking 6 the previous turn. Eternal Seeker will choose the number 6. All 6 cost cards are voided.
There's a Transmogrifade that would have helped. I really think that Windsinger just needed to stick in there for 1 more turn and everything would have been okay. We see the 3rd Lanapors come down in as many turns. So, I mean, the potential for drawing out of this is still there. But it definitely looks a lot worse for ThurfirHawat here.
Confounding Ire can interrupt a blood or wild card. Eternal Seeker being neither.
Ooh, steal intel there. I wonder what it was trying to take. Probably Windsinger, but who knows?
Master Runecrafter, a 5/3.
You take a look at what's still in the
up
crypt there, because obviously some stuff has been put back in.
Oh, let's see. In the crypt at the time, there was a Windsinger there, a couple of Brown Foxtrots and Lanapus. I almost certainly trying to get Windsinger.
Okay. Doesn't want that going back into the deck, because that could cause some serious problems. Master Runecrafter is an interesting hit off of Lackey, actually. One of the cards from the new set, obviously, so it wasn't really present when Lackey was in the format. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Not too many runes being used, but I guess they could be.
It's a 5/3. It's aggressive.
Yeah, that's true. We see the Transmogrifade here. Turns that into a...
Crowbones.
Crowbones, yeah. Interesting. That's a...
3/3 flight and has ended up with a Skyguard Steadfast gem.
It may be the worst 6-drop possible. Maybe not, though. I guess Balthazar would be pretty bad. At least it has flight, right?
Yes.
Now it has flight and Skyguard, which is...
and Steadfast.
And Steadfast. But, I mean, when you really want to block flight troops, just go for flight and Steadfast, just to be... flight and Skyguard, just to be sure. Steadfast helps too.
Yeah, you just gotta make sure if you lost flight, you can still block those flying troops. Flight troops. Wintermoon has lost Windsinger, but has lots of cards in hand, lots of resources. Rothpaw Gang's back, but he'll be woven into nothing. They will. It's a pair. It's a duo. A gang, even.
Something needs to be done about this Crowbones. It's going to be able to prevent the damage on the backswing and also get damage through every single turn. So something needs to happen. We need a Transmog or a Hustler. There's the Transmog. But I mean, 6 drops are still really good. Even if this is transmogged again, the chances of it being something good are quite high.
Something good. Crush could be a problem. Something else with flight could be a problem. But still gotta do what you can. Another Lana Plus site, prophesying draw a card when you play it on those next few cards. Every single troop out here for ThurfirHawat is a 2-cost, so Weave Into Nothing has to hit that Eternal Seeker. I don't think it wouldn't hit that Eternal Seeker, but just in case.
Transmog, is it going to happen? It is going to happen. What does it turn into? This time it is a Grim Martyr. You can sacrifice that to draw 2 cards.
But importantly, it can be blocked.
I mean, if you're going to lose your troop, you might as well draw 2 cards instead, right? Here is the Crusader. That could be sacrificed for Rotpaw here to draw 2, lose 2 health, and get that Rotpaw back as well. So that's a pretty good pickup here. We see Arcane Focus off the top. Doesn't use the Sapphire Eyes first. Confounding Ire is a fantastic hit here. Brown Fox Scout isn't too bad either. So, you know, likely we see the loss of something here for that Rotpaw, and then the Confounding Eye can clean up the Rotpaw once again. But, you know, it can keep coming back. So, as long as there is a troop to be sacrificed.
This is an important breakpoint for Wintermoon. At 6 health, is getting close to stabilizing here. Lots of cards, about to draw a bunch with these prophesied actions and troops.
So Steel, Intel, and Rotpaw here. We see the Brown Fox come in, picking up Deny and Explorer. Fantastic hits there. Well, a fantastic hit and a mediocre hit.
Steel Intel is going to be Confounding Ired. Probably trying to grab a Windsinger or something else again.
Yeah, there's a lot of draw here. All of those cards have draw a card on them. The Well and the Cottontails both draw a ton of cards.
But that is all of the cards that Justiis has. That is also all of the interrupts ThurfirHawat has.
Picks up another Aya, a fantastic pickup again here. All of these can swing in. So this is actually starting to tip in the favor of Justice here. In the favor of ThurfirHawat from what looks pretty dominating. All of those card draw actions, the Lanapor sites have really switched things up here.
Yeah, somewhere around 12 or 13 resources, Wintermoon just has a lot of cards and a lot to do with those cards. Probably even before 13 resources. We're pretty late game, and getting Wintermoon to 6, Kagalichu can do it, but it looks like control is slipping away of this game to the control player. Look at all those cards in hand for Wintermoon.
Unfortunately, Cottontail Explorer there has just put the Windsinger into the crypt. So that isn't great, but that means it was on the bottom anyway and likely wouldn't have seen much use in this game. But yeah, I mean, we have so many interrupts here. Aya, Weave Into Nothing, and Deny, plus a couple of Pipit Hustlers. He might even let this Rotpaw gang resolve just so he can Pipit Hustler it and stop that problem from coming back again.
No, not when you have 3 interrupts in hand and can just drop a couple of Pipit Hustlers. One of them now.
One of them comes in, and that's gonna enable that deny here for a 1 cost, which means the Aya can pick up anything else that's there. We see Pocket Army, interesting.
But this is now lethal. There's nothing else in Kagalichu's hand that can stop this. Pocket Army can only block one of the 3 attack troops. This is going to be a win. Actually, no. Pocket Army can't. It was in play. It can exhaust, create a Pocket Army. Now that's in play too. Well, that's still only 1 blocker, but
it was worth it to see the Pocket Army do its thing. I think that's the real takeaway from this game.
Transmogrifade with a 50-50 chance of turning a originally 1-cost card into a non-troop. Copycat or Polyberry Pouch are the options. No resources left for Justiis. An attack has to let at least 9 damage through. That is fatal to Justiis at 7, and ThurfirHawat will win round 1 match in a 2-1 match.
Yeah,
well played by both players.
That was a pretty. It was a drawn out game, but it was definitely back and forth the entire time, and ultimately it landed with Wintermoon just digging her heels in, and starting that card advantage train that never stops. Good stuff, and it's definitely what we expected to see post Lasgar's Vengeance. A lot of very different decks that like we knew were there, but they just weren't being played that often.